thank you so much for joining us on Three Chairs. I'm your host, Sherryn Tai, sat in the blue chair today. Joining us in the red chair, it is Mr. Luke Weston.
Hi, Shiz.
Hello, thank you very much. In the yellow chair today, joining us will be
Hello.
lovely Julia Grace. Good to have you here, guys.
Nice clap, Luke.
She doesn't come in unless you applaud.
Yeah, no.
Thanks for being here.
You're
Julia.
welcome.
Guys, fun fact about me today, had my makeup done
Looks
professionally.
great.
Yeah, but how's the eyebrows?
On
Very
fleek.
nice.
Just had those tattooed on.
Wow.
Who knew they do that these days?
Luke.
Yeah, they tattoo eyebrows on. They're pretty pricey, actually. Like, I bought a house last week, which was way more expensive than the eyebrows.
That's great.
You had your eyebrows done for the show?
You're spending up large. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
My name's Luke Weston. I have Vegemite toast every morning, literally every morning for
Not Marmite.
breakfast. No, just Vegemite toast. I'm the father of twins. Those are two daughters. They're 6.5 years old.
Well done.
And one day I would like to build a flying fox. I even have plans.
Oh, perfect. I'm sure your girls and yourself
The girls aren't going on it.
Oh,
Just for you.
And these eyebrows are just my own.
They are beautiful. Well, my name's Julia Grace. I apparently today look like a really good curtain.
Good
I'm taking the good
Yeah.
as a good curtain. Fun fact, I once had a parrot who ate 16 keys off my computer keyboard.
Wow, that's over half the alphabet.
That's it. And I speak around the subject of mental health, and I am the visual aid.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in today. We will be talking about dating on the show today. I have a basket of assorted flowers and random questions. I thought we could have a little look and get to know each other a bit better.
Boom. Can I start?
You may.
All right. Okay, I'm going to grab this one. Oh, right, Luke, let's start with you because this reminds me a little bit of you in a way. Which habits of other people irritate you the most?
Oh, this
Oh, I've got so much to say.
for me.
No.
On behalf of me. You're going to just start talking about the things
Yeah,
about
okay,
me
okay.
that irritate you. I don't like mess very much. I'm a bit of a clean freak when it comes to my house, and everyone else in my family
It's a total
is a
mess.
pile maker.
No.
So everything just gets stacked up. So that kind of annoys me.
How about at work?
Yeah, probably kind of the same. I would prefer things to be minimalist. I
you wanna
prefer
name
everything off
names?
the floor. No, I think everyone's pretty good. Yeah, no, we're doing all right at work.
Yeah? All
All right,
right.
Sharon, what annoys you?
Eating noises.
Oh,
Can't stand it. If I'm sitting with somebody who, just
not
stop.
good,
No,
not
don't do
good,
that. So
okay.
yeah, that really
I think
gets to me.
some people just being there, just
Oh.
being around. But I actually
Certain
don't like.
people.
Yeah, I don't like.
Well,
Did
name
you
some
want Luke to
names.
leave?
I don't. Luke. Oh, sorry. No, I don't like noise. And the older I get, the less I like it. The more like my father I'm becoming.
So fireworks
And,
not a good night for you.
No. West Auckland. It's
Salvation Army
hard
band?
to tell. No.
Don't like them.
Yeah. Anyway, so a few annoying things.
There
How
you
about
go.
All right, your one's next, mate.
Oh, me next.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, what is your greatest achievement?
You were my greatest achievement. That's why I
Point
pointed
to
at you.
get. Well, obviously having children, sort of morally obligated to say that. But once we've got that out of the way, I actually won a music award, which was a great achievement. And so between the two, obviously the children are more, but I got a music award. Helen Clark presented me with my award.
Wow.
She said, congratulations, which was exciting and frightening at the same time. So that, I think was a
That is a
was
great
bit of an
achievement.
Oh, that was harsh. Helen Clark, though.
Harsh but fair.
Harsh but fair.
I right?
Absolutely. Greatest achievement. I think my children, yeah, absolutely. I think I've travelled a lot, which is always kind of fun as
Yeah.
well. There's been some things professionally that I think have been good. I don't feel comfortable talking about my own achievements.
It's quite a big
funnily enough.
question, isn't it?
But what I'd like to do is just put up a copy of my CV now.
Oh, right.
Are you looking for a new job?
Yeah, you will be after this. All right.
Here you go. Here's your flower.
Thank you very much for getting my flower for me. If you could only choose one song to play every time you walked into a room, what would it be? Can I answer yours?
Oh yeah, go
What
for
the world
Well,
needs now.
No, hers is like either a Rapture Ruckus song,
Okay.
maybe Freight Train.
it. Freight Train. That's a good one. Yeah, that was a good song. I would probably go with. Actually, can you go next? Because I need some time to
Well,
think.
I could pick one of my own songs. So
Yeah.
my sister says that at my funeral they're going to play "Carry Me Away" and they're going to bring me out,
Oh,
in
that
the
sounds
coffin,
so
which I thought
emotional.
was appropriate, and maybe with a picture of me like sitting up. But yeah, they can't really play that every time I go into the room. Maybe like, here she comes to save the day, something like that.
That is a good one. I would like to say something by maybe Mandisa. I don't know why. Just she's great.
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 I think mine is You're So Vain. You probably think this song is about you.
Oh yeah,
Is that song about me?
I mean, we'll play it when you walk into the room,
Probably,
sure. But
probably.
Did you know that the word dating is actually a Moroccan word, and it comes from a practice of laying dates on the head of your betrothed in a circle? Actually, that's not true. I have no idea where the word dating comes from.
I'm Sherryn, and on 3 Cheers today we are talking about dating. Luke, have you ever been on a date?
Wow, that was quick. We're straight into it.
Yeah.
I'm a human being. I'm married to a woman, and it wasn't an arranged marriage.
Oh.
So yes,
you did the dating
ipso
part.
facto, I've been on a few dates and dated a few other women, girls, you know, in my past as well. Thanks for asking, Shiz.
Yeah, Julia, have you been on a few dates?
I have. Well, I was brought up in a situation where you weren't allowed to do dating. So I actually married my childhood sweetheart, and that didn't really end well. And so I ended up dating from my 40s. So adult dating, totally unprepared for that. So a bit of a different experience.
Okay.
Surely there must have been a bit of dating though, because you can't go, well, should we just get married? Is that how it happened with your high school sweetheart? And how does it get your sweetheart if you never went on a date?
Yeah, how do you
We
know?
grew up together.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Here's a question.
Yes.
Have you ever been on a bad date?
I have.
Because there's lots of good dates, surely,
been
but
on worst dating experience. I went on a date with a guy who then went on to tell me about his arrest and how that wasn't his fault, how he'd been institutionalised by his ex-wife and how that wasn't his fault, and then he'd been had up for assaulting the lady at the Winds department. I kept the date going because I just thought this is such a good story, it's just going to get better and better. And apparently none of it was his fault.
Okay.
Of course.
Never is.
Never is.
Yeah.
You've been on a bad date?
I've probably been on bad dates with my wife.
Oh,
you know, like things that
wow.
haven't gone well.
Right, it wasn't
Yeah.
bad based on the person, it was bad based on...
Just circumstances.
happened,
When
yeah.
I asked my wife to marry me, it was sort of a whole day of dating. It was her 23rd birthday. And to cut a long story short, I took her caving, didn't know that she was really claustrophobic.
Oh, wow.
So she cried. For a lot
So
of
she
the
was
day.
just like, yes, get me out of here.
Then took her
I say yes.
out for a Thai meal that same night, and she ordered something that was way too hot and ended up vomiting.
Oh, no.
So that's not a great date, but I
Did
got
you
a
say
good
the
result.
same night?
Same night
Same
as the
night.
caving.
Oh, no.
And she still married you.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't my
miracle.
fault she ordered the wrong thing.
Did you swap? Did you swap meals with her? And you were like, I'll have that, you know, you have my nice thing. that I've ordered."
Do you know Luke at all? No, the answer's not going to be yes to that.
I can't remember. That was a long time ago.
Oh, dear.
What about you, Sherryn? Bad dating experience?
I've only ever had one boyfriend. I married my first boyfriend. He is now my husband of nearly 3 years. And I'd like to say I have some cool stories. I haven't really been on a bad date.
I know that you've been on a bad day. I could tell
Can you
the
tell me?
story.
Please
No,
tell me.
we're not going to do that. That would be awkward.
Okay, well, I mean, dating is something that I feel most people would do, right, in their lifetime. Go on some dates. Do you think it's actually necessary? You know, you were saying, Julia, that you didn't really go on dates with your high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
Do you think dating is necessary?
I think it's very necessary. And I think becoming single in the Christian world later on in life, there's this sort of message that you shouldn't be doing anything. You should just sit at home and wait, and God will bring you something. And I don't agree, because I think God's not going to have the man of your dreams knocking on your door unless you want to marry a Jehovah's Witness, in which case that may,
That will
it's
work.
entirely possible. But I actually think that you've got to put some stuff into action. So part of life is going, yes, I can trust God, but I've got to go and do something.
Yeah.
You might kiss a few frogs on the way, but it's worthwhile.
That's a nice way to put it. You might kiss a few frogs on the way. Yeah. Luke, you've got 2 daughters. They are
Yep.
quite young, 6.5, right? Have you thought about, them growing up and going on dates? Do you think?
Well, I haven't thought about it today.
No, but, you must have some sort of thinking around that. Do you have any
Yeah,
sort of,
absolutely.
rules?
Look, I'm probably a pretty easygoing sort of a dad at this stage, and I think that absolutely, if they'd like to date somebody, not at 6.5.
No,
I
definitely.
think that's not good.
A little bit early.
But hopefully we have this sort of relationship where we can just chat about it honestly and openly, and that we're a part of it. I think the moment that your kids are hiding things from you because you're so strict or you've got so many rules, I think that that's not a recipe for, great maturity in the dating world.
Yeah, you want it to be an open conversation where your kids are comfortable to come to you and talk about those things. Well, do you still, because you're both married now, we're all married, yes. Do you still go on dates with your spouse, your husband, your wife?
Yeah.
Is it important to go on dates often?
I think so. And I think the older you get, the more you realise that it's not about the money, which is great because we don't have any. And so actually deciding what do we really like doing? Because I think when you're young, you go on dates because you think this is what you're supposed to do, and you end up at fancy restaurants and stuff, and it can be just kind of awkward feeling. So it's actually going, what do we like doing? Yeah. So our dates are going to be beach, like low key, just chill out, picnic stuff, and it's going to be things that we actually don't feel under a whole lot of pressure, and it's just fun.
Well, why would you go and do something, for a date that you're not really actually enjoying? Yeah, one of my best, favourite standout dates was just where we spontaneously went out for dinner. It wasn't a fancy place. I actually think it was fast food. And we ended up just lime scootering around, those electric scooters. And I will always remember that. It was so much fun.
People.
Do you notice that Christians have a whole bit of business around dating as well? I wonder whether kind of just secular couples are going, we should really go on a date.
Oh, yeah.
Where they just sort of live their lives and it's
Just
like
do
our
stuff.
relationship actually just works because we like hanging out, but Christians over-egg the pudding on everything. You've got to invest in your relationships. The pressure, the tension.
Yeah,
well, it's what is a date? It's time. So it's actually going, when you're, before you're married, you might go, right, we're going to spend some time together, we're going to hang out. And then particularly when you've got little kids, I think you have to maybe go, we need a plan. And so doing something fun together is good.
Yeah.
I
I would like to go to KFC on every date, but my wife doesn't eat it.
thought you were going to say
It's a real shame.
Kmart, KFC and Kmart.
Yeah.
That is a great date combo.
That's a winner.
Yeah, I think so.
That
It's a
is a
winner.
winning night.
I do think what you were saying, Luke, about Christians putting a lot of pressure specifically on dating, I think, we can see it as a rigid thing that you have to do properly, and there can be a lot of pressure around it. It actually makes it harder. It makes you more nervous to go on dates because you're like, well, this might be the man I'm marrying. I think that's actually why we go on dates, is because you're seeing if this is the person you want to marry. So, I've heard it said that going out for coffee is coffee. Don't make it anything more than that. You're just having a chat with somebody and getting to know them. So I do think we can put a lot of pressure on it. It can become quite a scary thing, actually, dating.
And labels. Labels is the thing, right? And I think there's a whole lot of judgment in the Christian world. Should you kiss? Should you hold hands? Is it okay to be in the same room? Should you pray with the person that you're even dating?
Yeah.
I think that, I've heard all of that in my time as a Christian. I think it makes it very hard for Christian young people especially to sort of navigate their way through that world. And sometimes they end up just going, you know what, it's easy if I just do this outside the church, get on with my life. And that's a real shame, isn't it? I think we've got to get better at just being a little bit more down to earth about something that has been around for thousands of years. The idea of courtship and then ending up together in whatever capacity that is, I think that's a very human thing.
Okay, here's a fun story. I always had this idea in my head that I never wanted to get proposed to in a restaurant, and that's where I got this. It was in a restaurant in front of a whole lot of people. So we're talking about dating on 3 Cheers today. Let's talk a little bit more about dating online, Julia. Yes, so you actually met your husband online, is this right?
I did.
How did this come about?
Well, I just had my heart broken by an Anglican vicar, and it sounds like the beginning of a bad joke, but it's actually a true story. But I kind of came out of this time, I'd been dealing with depression, I'd been dealing with a whole lot of stuff, and I realised that I actually wanted to keep my heart open. I still was quite keen to be married. And so I thought, well, I've got to put my money where my mouth is, got to put a bit of faith in action. So I put my profile up onto a Christian dating site, it just happened to be that, and I put this real hardcore Christian profile and then a really nice photo. And I thought, if you can get past that, you can come. come see me.
Cool. So
Yeah.
did you talk online for a little bit
Yeah.
before you actually met in person and went on a date? Yeah, in person.
Yeah, for quite a while. It's like having a pen pal. So it's like chitter chatter, and so you're sort of typing and you're writing, and then you're talking, and then you eventually end up. I guess we should probably meet. You know, and yeah, it's just a meeting place. I think people can be a bit weird about online.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents met at a dance. I don't know, like, you know, and when you're young, you might meet at youth group, so you go along, and everybody's probably single, unless you're from West Auckland, and you know, but you know, you kind of know where everyone stands. But when you're a bit older, you don't realise you can't tell who's who and what's what, and so it's just a meeting place.
Yeah.
It's just a little, yeah. What do you think, Luke?
Well, I think that you're very lucky that you met someone tall online, because that could have happened the other way, right? Because Julia is from a long line of very tall people.
Are you?
Yes.
And actually, Michael, who is very tall,
Yeah.
is still not as tall as your brothers.
No, and in fact, he at 6'4" is kind of like one of the short ones of my family.
Whoa.
But my father, when I said to him, look, I've met this amazing guy, and you know, we're engaged and we're going to get married, and I thought he was going to ask me all these like really important questions, you know, about his character, his faith. He said, "Is he tall?" I was like, "Shallow, Dad, but yes, he is." So important.
I love that. So, you know, I feel like that is the way that in this day and age things are happening. People are talking more online. It's more accessible. You've got young kids. How old are your kids?
Well, 20 and 16.
20 and 16. So they're
they just
probably
think
of
it's
that
kinda
age where
normal.
they're, you know, constantly in touch, constantly talking to people
Yeah.
online.
Well, my son's, like, his friends are people that he's literally met on the internet.
Right.
And so it's that weird thing as a parent where you're going, we were told, you know, don't meet people off the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And then next minute, I'm married one, and his best mates. It's just a meeting place. And I don't think we need to be scared of it. But I do think people have to be smart.
Yeah.
Because you literally can say anything about yourself and put any photo. You've all seen the...
Yeah, that's called
the
catfishing.
shockers.
Yeah. So as a parent, you know, with younger kids, do you put any sort of, rules, or is there any guidelines that you talk to your kids about? Because
around meeting people online?
Yeah, talking to people online. What do you do?
Well, I guess with kids, you just kind of got to go the normal. What do you? Luke's kids are only little. You've got all this to look forward to. Just the normal stuff of actually going, be smart, and you know, you don't go off meeting people in strange places.
Yeah. It's a bit of a tricky one.
It is.
I think you want to teach your kids as well to make good decisions for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, if you think that you're going to parent your kids into a good marriage, I just think that's ridiculous. You know, you've got to give your kids the ability to think for themselves and to make good decisions so that when they're adults, they can make those decisions and then you can bask in the glory. I think that's how it should work,
Do you
right?
think there's pressure in a Christian setting to sort of go, okay, because I was brought up, you know, you only date someone if you're going to marry them. But it's like, well, how do you know if you want to marry them if you haven't been on
Exactly.
some dates?
Exactly.
Like, you've been married for a few years,
Yeah.
but you would have met some people before that. Like, how do you
Well,
sift
yeah.
out the opposition?
It's a very good question. I did go on a couple dates with some guys before I met my husband. We were actually in the same friend circle, which was very convenient. You know, I knew him really well as a friend beforehand. We went on a few dates, and you have to, I guess, go on these dates to see whether or not this is the person that you actually want to, you know, take that next step with. So you go on dates. You're not necessarily labelled as boyfriend and girlfriend straight away. You can see if you want to go on to that next stage, I guess.
Here's the harsh reality about this as well, is that like our idea of Christian dating and Christian marriage doesn't make better marriages.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
It's
the
like,
stats are the same.
you know, the
Yeah.
stats are exactly the same. So I think that the church, and I've said this a lot, you know, it's like the church has to stop this thing of, oh, we do everything better than you as the world, you know, and our way of doing relationships is obviously better than your way of doing relationships, because it just it's so judgmental, isn't it? And that's our sort of default position, I think, on a lot of subjects. So, you know, I think that there are great relationships outside of the church as well. And as Christians, what do we bring into family and into relationships?
Yeah.
I think that's something that people need to actually think about for themselves.
I think actually looking beyond what your faith is, like, it's really important. And I talk to a lot of Christian singles who are adults, and they are literally just going, oh, as long as they're a Christian, that's the number one thing. It's like it's the only thing that matters. I'm like let's start listing Christians that you don't want to be married to.
Exactly.
Because of their personality, their character, you don't have anything in common with them. But just because you share a faith doesn't mean you want to like marry them.
Yeah, no,
and
not
so I think it's
necessarily.
actually going, yes, that's one thing, but what about all the other stuff? What about if you're compatible? What about if you have similar values and, you know, all those important things?
Well, that being said, just a takeaway piece, do you have any relationship dating advice? You know, what can you do?
I say just be open-minded and be brave to go, look, it's all kind of life's experiences. So if someone asks you to go out to do something, you think, oh, I don't know, just go, have some fun, give it a go to the concert, go get the coffee, go to the movies, do the thing. And then you never know, a spark might actually erupt.
Ooh, good advice. Luke, any advice from you, mate?
Oh, my advice is to be as down to earth as you can be, and this is in life in general. You know, I think that the God of the universe, if he is real, and we believe that he is, he's not surprised by our human actions. You know, we have this way of thinking as Christians that God is kind of flabbergasted by the level of our own sin. You know, it's like, whoa, I've never seen that before in human relationships. You know, God's not disappointed with you. He's not kind of looking at you thinking that you're going to stuff up at any stage. I think take the pressure off and try and have as much fun as you can. And if you fall in love, then great, be with somebody. But there's a whole bunch of stuff in the Bible as well about not being in relationships and not being married. And I'm always amazed at people who do that in life and do it well.
Yeah.
It's like, what an incredible thing to do, because our worth, as hard as it is, doesn't come from our relationship. It comes from our relationship with God.
Yeah.
And who we are as individuals. So
yeah, and I guess you date, you have fun, you know, you're married and stuff, and it's just great to have somebody who you can do life with and have that relationship with, right? And just have fun along the way. It's very good.
A teenage boy who shall remain nameless made a comment to me the other day about dating. He said, Mum, whoops-a-daisy. He did say, Mum. He said, being in a relationship, there's consequences for what you do and consequences for what you don't do. And I said, actually, that's the most insightful thing you've ever said. But I said to him, you know, the day that problem becomes less of an issue and she becomes the biggest thing, then you know you found the one.
Well, thank you both very much for joining us on 3 Cheers. It's been a great day.
it's been so good. I'm feeling romantic.
Oh.
I really am. I feel like going home and spritzing myself with CK1.
You're going to go on a date tonight, are you? Well, Julia, it's been really fun.
I feel like we've really got to know each other very well. Especially that bit, Luke.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us here on 3 Cheers.